Cold Heaven is based on a novel by Brian Moore and is Nicholas Roeg's fourth collaboration with writer Allan Scott, a relationship which started in the mid-70s with Don't Look Now. As has happened before with Roeg's work, the release of Cold Heaven has been delayed, this time because MCEG, the American company behind the film, went bankrupt earlier this year. After taking the company to court, Roeg and Scott have now secured the rights to the film themselves. The clips we're showing are from Roeg's cutting copy of the film, which won't be released until sometime next year. Cold Heaven is a metaphysical thriller that stars Roeg's wife Teresa Russell as a lapsed Catholic on the verge of leaving her husband, played by Mark Harmon. Just as she's about to tell him, he has an apparently fatal accident, and the film goes on to explore themes of faith and guilt. We asked the normally reticent Nicholas Roeg and Allan Scott, who also produced the film, to tell us about it. Nick, if I can start with you, what attracted you to the novel, to Cold Heaven?
Well, Allan showed it to me first, and I like Brian Moore's work, and I'd actually been rather interested in making Doctor's Wife at one time. And then right at the root of it, it has an idea, the idea of a woman just at that point of crisis and a second chance, being able to have a second chance in life. I think that's probably the very base premise that I liked about the book.
It's a thriller, but it's a thriller that involves all the big sort of capital letter themes, guilt and belief and commitment and all those things. I have this theory anyway that you can only deal with sort of interesting themes in movies where you're spending a lot of money if you basically suborn them into a genre picture. And Cold Heaven's a thriller. If somebody asks me, that's what it is. Because I don't think you could deal with those themes outside of a thriller context or a policier or something, anyway, a genre picture.
Senora, I must tell you that your husband's body has disappeared.
What?
The autopsy had been scheduled for 8 o'clock this morning, and at 6 minutes before 8, the pathologist on duty found the plastic wrap from your husband's body on the floor of the morgue, and the corpse missing. A full search of the hospital and all facilities has been carried out. No trace of the body.
It just doesn't make any sense.
No.
Maybe he wasn't dead.
You were pitching a film that includes, I'm not giving too much away, that includes an apparition of the Virgin Mary. How did Hollywood react?
With some interest.
Really?
And some disinterest, I have to say.
Yeah, it is I mean, it's, that word, the word is impossible to use, you know, I mean, it's the word religion. It isn't a, you know, is it, what, oh my God, is this a religious film? It isn't a religious film.
No.
It's a film of someone's mental state.
And I think the challenge for Nick, and indeed for the screenplay, was to get the audience to a point in the movie where they would accept the idea of a miracle. I mean, it's as big an idea as a spaceship landing from Mars and little men coming out.
I dreamed a dream. That happens here. That happens to you.
Do you enjoy the process of making films?
No, I don't think anybody can. It's getting it off your mind. Getting something off your mind. There are times I like sort of the outdoor bit.
If you don't enjoy the process of making them, what is it that you like about cinema?
Having made them, the end is, and right at the beginning and right at the end, but right at the beginning and right at the end. It's an exciting thing at the beginning, and it's a sense of something past and gone at the end. You know, at least it's out of your mind and out of your life. I think that's...
I have this theory about the way Nick works, that to some extent, he almost likes to create the pain for himself. No, I mean, I think in the nicest way. I mean, he doesn't sort of moan around unhappily, but there's often a sort of heightened sense of, I'm having a hard time.
There are ways in which it charts some of the same territory as Don't Look Now, of looking at some of those themes, and again at looking at the, you know, is the thriller aspect of it really happening, or is it actually all constructed by one of the characters in their emotional turmoil?
They're similar.
There's a parallel.
In some way,
maybe.
I guess inevitably you keep somewhere or another. How many different things can one be drawn to, you know, in life? You know, physically, emotionally. I mean, we tend to repeat ourselves. I think people, Francois Truffaut once said to me, he made the same film over and over again. Painters do it, don't they? They paint their wife. He painted his wife from every position under the sun.
Wait.
I tend to think that everything's a bit extra normal. You know, I mean, every kind of drama is. I'm not sure that there are great flights of fantasy and suspension of belief in most. The fact that this deals with another kind of or unsayable, generally unsayable, unspeakable spirituality that is no different. I don't think it's much different from Total Recall. That's a bit extra normal, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. And perhaps one of the other things they've got, those two films, unlikely comparison though it may be, have in common is there's almost a trick being played on the audience, which appeals to me in both of those films, in Cold Heaven and in Total Recall, of you never quite being sure what's real and what isn't. Is that something
I think
that you
I think that is
for?
true. I think that is true of life. You know, I think that's true in one's own life.
I think we should stick with the idea that the closest parallel is Total Recall, and if we get 10% of the gross, we'll be happy.
5%.
All right, well, Allan Scott, Nicholas Roeg, thanks very much indeed for coming in. And we'll find out just how well Cold Heaven compares to Total Recall sometime next year.